This is Kenji. You might think he's an easy brawler to master, but trust me, he's not. So today we're gonna analyze every little detail about him, as well as the best tips and tricks to master Kenji and his playstyle. This is the ultimate Kenji guide. Kenji's an assassin, so his primary focus is to get kills. Or is it? At max level, he has 7600 health. He has a very fast movement speed, a very fast reload speed, a fast unload speed, and a small hitbox. Kenji's attacks alternate between a dash and a slash. His dash range is 3 1/3 tiles and it deals 1500 damage. Now his slash seems to be the same, but its range is actually slightly longer than the preview, so it's actually 3 2/3 tiles and it deals 2000 damage. Now with his super, Kenji targets an area and jumps towards it, slicing the ground in an shape. The delay is always 1 second no matter how close or far Kenji aims, and he can't take damage while on air. When the super animation ends, he goes back to where he was when he used it. His super's range is technically 6 2/3 tiles, but it extends to 10 1/3 tiles where the slices end. Also, both his attacks and his super are piercing. Now Kenji also has what I like to call the lifesteal trait. Every time he lands one of his attacks or his super, he heals for 35% of the damage dealt. His first gadget is called Dashi Dash. When you press it, Kenji's basic attack turns into dashes only for 3 seconds. His second gadget is called Hosomaki Healing. With it, Kenji instantly restores 50% of the damage he took over the last 3 seconds. His first star power is called Study the Blade. When it's equipped, his super has 30% longer range. His second star power is called Nijiri Nemesis, and when you're using it, Kenji gains a 60% shield if he doesn't get hit for 5 seconds. His hypercharge is called All You Can Eat. While hypercharged, Kenji gains a 5% shield and a 25% speed and damage buffs. His hyper super pulls the enemies towards the middle of the X, and Kenji teleports there upon using it too. We now know all his abilities, but if you want to fully utilize Kenji's power, you need to pick the right ones at the right time. So his best build is his second gadget and star power. There is an exception though, and that's if you're playing in modes like Siege or Cleaning Duty where the objective is to collect something. In that case, you can go with the first gadget. As for gears, his best one is damage, as it affects his lifesteal trait too, and thus healing him more when he's below 50% health. For the second slot, you can either go shield or gadget cooldown, but you can also experiment with health too in case you have harder matchups. His hypercharge is really strong and definitely worth getting too. But what about Kenji's counters? Kenji's an assassin, so his best matchups are low TPS brawlers like throwers, controllers, and snipers, with the 5 best being Poco, Dynamite, Grom, Sprout, and Tick. But he gets countered by high DPS brawlers like tanks and anti-tanks, so his 5 worst are Bull, Frank, Draco, Cordelius, and Griff. Just to cover everything though, I made this amazing tier list with all brawlers and how well Kenji does against them. And lastly, you also need to know what maps and modes suit him better. Kenji's best modes are Hot Zone and Bounty, but he's really versatile, so he can be played in any other mode too. Hot Zone and Bounty is where he'll face his best matchups though. As for maps, Kenji really likes it when the map has a lot of walls, because he can pressure the enemy by staying behind them, but not a lot of bushes, because that's where he'll face his worst counters. But he can also be played in more open maps too. It just takes some skill. So let me show you how to acquire it. First, let's analyze the 5 most common mistakes that all beginners make when playing with Kenji. The first mistake is auto-aiming. You should manually aim both your attacks and your super 90% of the time. Only auto-aim if you're up close to the enemy and you need to act fast. The second mistake is picking the wrong matchups. You should always focus on the easiest brawler. If you do, you'll win your lane and create space for your team to push up. Now the third mistake is using your super when you're exposed. If you don't kill the enemy, they will shoot where you spawn and kill you easily. So instead, stay behind cover or inside bushes when using it. Our fourth mistake is brainlessly going in. Instead of dying all the time, think about your next few dash and slash combos and where you should head to next. But the last mistake is kind of the opposite. Don't stay hidden inside a bush all the time. You should always play actively, let enemies know that you're there, and wait for them to make a mistake. That way, once they make one, you can go in immediately. So instead of waiting for the perfect opportunity, just create it yourself. This is deeper than you think, and it applies in real life too. But now let's talk about some tips and tricks you need to know to fully master Kenji and his playstyle. Each one of his attacks has a different purpose. His dash is weak. You mostly want to be using it to push up the map, get in position, and create pressure. Now think of his slash like his main attack. It's wider, the range is slightly longer, and it allows you to deal more damage, heal even more, and charge up your super faster. But speaking about Kenji Kenji's super, let's see how to actually cycle it effectively. Kenji needs 5 dashes or 4 slashes to charge up his super. Now with every super slash you hit, you get 20% of it back. So to instantly recharge it, you need to hit the enemy 5 times with 1 super. Now if you hit 1 enemy, you need another 4 dashes or 3 slashes. If you hit 2 enemies, you need another 3 attacks no matter the kind. If you hit 3, you need another 2 attacks this time. And if you hit 4, you only need 1 more attack. But in a real match, your attacks alternate and you might have to use a combination of both. So let's analyze that as well. If you hit 1 enemy with your super, you can dash, slash, dash and slash, or slash, dash and slash to get it back. But if your super hits more than 1 time, the attack order doesn't matter, as you'll get your super in specific hits no matter the kind, as I mentioned earlier. The best scenario is to aim to get at least 2 hits, but those 3 and 4 hits come from using your hypercharge correctly, which we'll talk about in a while. But apart from those interactions, let's cover some more advanced tricks you need to learn to better understand Kenji. First, if you don't remember what your next attack is when using your super, you can pre-aim it while in the air. This will show you if you have a dash or a slash available, but it's always best to decide that before using your super, depending on the situation. If you're attacking the enemy, make sure you use your super after you dash. That way you're gonna have your slash ready to deal damage. But if you're low on health and you're trying to back down, use your slash and then super to have your dash ready to escape. Now keep in mind that you should never be afraid to go in. Even if you die, you can create a lot of pressure and charge up your hypercharge too. And that's the strongest thing about Kenji, as one hypercharge super can turn the game around. Try not dying all the time though, because your team will get pressured back. As I mentioned before, the best way to play Kenji is to not hide and let enemies know that you're there. Unlike Mortis, you should stay close to all and take advantage of them. That way you can peek behind them with your slash. But if you have your dash instead, just use it to the wall. This is proper Kenji positioning, and it can allow you to create so much pressure and your team to push up. The enemies will need to pinch you to get you out of that spot. But if your teammates are doing their part, the enemies won't be able to pinch you easily, so they'll get pressured the entire game. If they're not experienced though, they will overextend, meaning they'll come way too close to you. In that case, you need to decide whether you can afford to go in or not. If the enemy is isolated or if they're low on health, you can go in for the kill. But if their teammates are there to help them out, it's best to keep the pressure and let your teammates take them down instead. Otherwise, if you go in and die, it'll impact your team as well and they'll get pressured back. A really cool trick for Kenji's second gadget is to take as much damage as possible before pressing it to heal up even more and surprise the enemy. But you need to time it right. If you don't, you're gonna die. Now his super heals him up too, but it's tricky to use it. If you aim it at max range, you need to anticipate where the opponents are gonna go to get at least 1 hit. If they're closer to you, you can aim directly in the middle to get 2 hits. It's also good to know that if the enemies are directly below you when you use it, your super will connect most of the time, even if you auto aim it. Another really cool thing to know about Kenji's super is you can cancel any poison effects, as well as Kaze's mark and lose freeze upon using it. Now in a Kenji versus Kenji scenario, wait for the opponent to use their super, and right before it slices the ground, use yours at the same spot he was on. That way you'll hit him when he returns. With the same logic, you can also avoid some big damage by using your super at the right time, for example a Frank stun or a Shelly super. But now let's talk about his hypercharge. To get it, you need 19 dashes or 14 slashes. When using your hypercharge super on an enemy, it pulls them towards the middle, but it doesn't pull them all the way like Tara's super. So you still have to aim your super and make sure that the enemies are close enough to the center of it to hit both slices. Otherwise, there's a chance of completely missing it. The most important thing with Kenji's hyper is to try getting a second super before its duration ends. It's best not to waste your hyper super in one enemy unless that enemy has a lot of HP and you can get your super back. But generally, you need to be patient and find an opportunity where 2 or more enemies are close to each other. Each super slice deals 3250 damage when hypercharged. So to cycle to another one, you need to make sure that the enemies have more than 6500 HP. If they have less and you hit them with both slices, you'll kill them immediately. But that's not all. Kenji's hyper also teleports him where the super was aimed. So you can always use it to get kills, but it's also useful if you want to escape from a tough spot. If you want to escape though, make sure you aim to another enemy to fully take advantage of the hypercharge. And last, a cool thing to know is that if Kenji uses his hypercharge super and the hyper duration ends mid-super, he spawns back instead of teleporting, just like his normal super. You can use this to deal a lot of damage to enemies that counter you up close without putting your life on the line. If this video helped you, make sure to like it and subscribe to not miss out on any other brawler guides. And with that, I think you'll like this video too. So hopefully, I'll see you there.